Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Dean. That is your intro. Not bad, though. Not bad today because it was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. Busy day today. We've got a couple of guests coming on the program. We've got the manager of Fillmore's Gentlemen's Club. It's a strip joint that's only allowing fully vaccinated perverts in. So we've got that going for us today. We've also got my friend Rob Gill, who's a journalist, great guy. We're going to talk about the right eating the right. We've got Chris Sky to get to later on today. We've got Rebel News to shit on today. It's going to be a good show. So let's get to it. Lachlan Cross is here with us today from 95 Cruise FM. And a friend of mine. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you put on deodorant.
I got a bad pit. Sorry, guys.
And a friend of mine, Twitter's kind of funny this way over the past year. Social media gives us nothing good, but it's given me some actual really solid friendships and people that think like me and want to make the world a bit of a better place by shitting on assholes. You have to find alternatives
when you refuse to meet with people. You have to find alternatives to meet friends. When you're socially awkward, like Dean is, and you don't like to leave the house, and you're an albino and you're not allowed to leave in the summer, it's very good that you have tools like Twitter to meet people.
Thank you.
I'm glad that I'm in that group too.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I am too, and it wouldn't please you to know I've started leaving the house recently. I've got a full day out of the house tomorrow, but still in the house today. Rob Gill joins us, ladies and gentlemen. Rob Gill, journalist. He's one of my hard favorites on Twitter, and we've gotten to know each other over the past little bit. Now, what Rob has done over the past year is he's like, and I think it's been incumbent upon regular people to do this. They've morphed into these like fucking catalyst drivers, right? Like the way that I met Karima, it was through Karima and I having like-minded views on anti-maskers and lunatics making the world a worse place for people just trying to get by. Rob's one of those guys, and Rob has been literally following assholes around on social media for the better part of a year. So first question to you, have you had to get counseling yet?
No, not yet. It's the number's ready. Like I have the number down here if I need to call someone, but no, it's hasn't gotten too heated yet.
Yeah. But what happened? Like when did this whole thing start for you? And we'll get into some of the people that you've been
what's your background?
Following, tagging. But he's a journalist. Rob's a journalist. He's got this journalism background. He's a writer. And did you just feel that incumbent upon yourself to call people out, or what was it? What changed?
I think it was just watching these shitheads just kind of just run all hog wild over Ontario, trying to ignore the rules, just kind of say F you to the government, which that's usually what I'm saying. But these idiots with COVID, these idiots are just making the lockdowns take longer, and they're extending everything, and I want to get back to normal. So, public shaming people like Chris Sky, people like Kevin J. Johnston. It's now a pastime for me. It's actually pretty therapeutic.
Yeah. And some would say, and some would say it bogs people down, like the negativity of it. But it literally, like you and I were talking before the show, shitting on anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers, it literally gives you life.
Shitting on shitheads is fun. Yeah, absolutely. People like Kevin J. Johnston, just running around Calgary. I got a lot of friends out there. Been out there many times. He's a piece of shit. That's all I can say. Yeah. So I like to document what he's doing. He has at least, let me just check my notes here. There's he has a bunch of criminal charges lined up in Ontario, Alberta, British Columbia. Same with people like Chris Sky. There are things you kind of like about some of these people, but then there's just so many redeeming qualities about them that,
Yeah, it's fun to shit on him. Locke, have you seen this guy, Kevin J. Johnson? Are you aware of this dude? This is Rob's Twitter handle, by the way. Vote for Rob Gill. Follow him if you get a chance. This guy, I think this is the dude that you've been following around, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's just fresh out of jail.
He got released on Monday evening. He was released. He spent, I believe, 7 weeks at the Calgary Remand Center because he was too dangerous to be trusted out amongst the public. Yeah, so he pled guilty. Going back, though, he has a history of violence down in Ontario, out of BC, in Alberta. And he's kind of the one locally in Alberta leading the anti-mask, anti-lockdown kind of charge out there, but he's just doing it completely the wrong way.
Is he running for mayor or something in Calgary, Rob?
He is running for mayor in Calgary. Their mayoral election is pretty crowded. There's, I don't know, last time I checked on the Calgary elections website, there was at least 3 pages of candidates, which is, it's kind of concerning when you have that many alternate candidates running against some more well-known names. When it's that diluted, it's pretty serious. You can get lunatics like Kevin J. Johnston elected.
It's such a small percentage of the population that votes in these civic elections, which is part of the reason why we end up with such, because it's the type of individuals that are sort of gravitating towards politics now are that seriously hard left civic local, at least in Edmonton, I can use as an example, left woke crowd, because it appeals to the type of person that actually votes in the civic elections too. So that's why we have about $25 million worth of bike lanes in Edmonton, Alberta, where it is below -20 for 6 months of the year. Great idea, everybody.
Hey, but you want to know what? In 10 years, once climate change rolls in and you're having Florida weather all the time, you're going to be pretty happy for those bike lanes.
You know what, Rob?
They'll be dead in 10 years.
I was looking for a positive way to spin the bike lanes in Edmonton, and you just did it. Not only that, I'm in St. Albert. I might have beachfront property. When my sister moved to the island, I sent her a dinghy. I said, you might need this to get to Alberta soon.
But the Albertans, like, no one's taking this guy seriously for mayorship of the city of fucking Calgary, are they? Like, the guy, my understanding that this guy is basically just a Nazi racist white terrorist who, and I know he got into it with the owner of Paramount out here in Ontario a couple of years ago, and Mohammed Fakir, who we've had on the show, great guy.
What a person to go after too. It's just someone that gives back to the community so much and does so much good work in Toronto and Mississauga. That doesn't make sense to me. But with Kevin, he's able to kind of draw a crowd, kind of like Chris Sky. It's more of the kind of dingy, under the bridge type crowd that he's
a lot of dirty fingernails in that crowd. I figure a lot of long, dirty fingernails in that crowd.
The thing about
the people that don't use soap, probably,
the thing that does worry me, and I'm not too concerned about a guy like Kevin J. Johnston getting in and winning the mayoral race in Calgary, but I am concerned about the number of people that are sort of gravitating towards these types of individuals for, I don't know, guidance or whatever it is. And we kind of touched on this yesterday, Dean, when we were talking about the misinformation and the lack of respect and from our authorities and the contradiction in things. It's no wonder more and more people are seeking out alternative because they're angry. They're mad. And I almost sympathize with some of these people, because I've had days where I just want to, like, all right, let's just light the whole fucking thing on fire. Come on.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm done. Now I'm not allowed to travel because I was told it was okay to mix vaccines. Let's just light this whole fucking thing on fire.
Quick stop. I got some good news for you there. Clarification. Reuters put this out today. The World Health Organization has clarified public health agencies, not individuals, should be making decisions on mixing and matching COVID vaccines. They're deleting all the tweets and the lack of context. But effectively, if your country has now said what the World Health Organization is saying 2 days later, is if your country is telling you that they've done the work and you can mix vaccines, go ahead and take that direction and mix those vaccines. You're fine.
The World Health Organization, they got to fire their communications person. It's just, it's been the communication out of the WHO has been very poor during this pandemic, and this is the time when you need good, strong,
so it's understandable though, Rob. I mean, that's one example of 100 examples of masks and vaccines and all of and anything political, where the messaging is we just don't trust our public authorities anymore. So what are we left with? We're left with Kevin J. Johnston thinking that he is going to win an election. Like, that's what we're stuck with. Right.
Well, and you know what? It's a great point. Like, the vacuum that's created by the lies that we've been told. Like, we're going to get to the right eating the right in just a second. We're going to get to Chris Guy's big blow up with Rebel News on TV yesterday. If you can call it fucking TV, I don't call it TV. It's like a fucking really stupid internet show with a bunch of weirdos. And the guy that was hosting it's a guy named David Menzies. Literally looks like a ginger burn victim. I swear to God. Like, I feel sorry for him when I look at it. I want to put lotion all over his face. But we'll get to that in just a second. But it's created this vacuum, right, where guys like that 10 years ago, they would be locked up in mental institutions. They've curated these fucking massive followings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for people like Rob or Karima, or in some cases us, a lot of those people would be subject to their whims. A lot of those people will go, you know what? I like that Kevin guy. Like, this dude has his own show and tens of thousands of people watch it and support him. This is a clip from Kevin J. Johnson talking about violence. Watch it.
I do believe in violence, everybody. I do. But I believe in violence as the absolutely last thing you do. You see, violence is, my life theory is this. Violence is the one great arbiter available to every single human being on this planet, because it doesn't matter if you're a multi-billionaire. You die as readily as I do if we get stabbed in the heart. That's just how it is. But it's the last option. Let's exhaust everything else before we try violence, please.
That's terrifying.
Like, the dude is running for fucking mayor, and people, to your point, are lining up behind him. Like, whether we fucking hate him or not.
They're sending him money, which, by the way, I'd like to encourage that. The less money dumb people have, I think the better off we all are.
The less impact they can make.
Yeah, actually, send me money. Send me a quick little note on any social media platform. I'll give you my email address. Transfer me money.
Through your e-transfer email at 3D.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
We could start raising some money for the show.
Yeah, we could. That'd be not a bad idea.
On money, though, Kevin's actually been able to raise, like, from my just kind of rough estimate based on what they're saying, which, take that for what it's worth. He has been able to raise over the past 7 weeks while he's been in prison nearly $21,000 to fight these, what he calls bogus charges, which he was promising his viewers that he was going to fight. So he was on his show. He's been calling in every day from prison to be on his little web show. And he's been telling his followers that he's going to be fighting these charges. They're bullshit. He's going to get them thrown out of court. All this nonsense. He was doing that up until last Friday. And then 3 days later, on Monday morning, he goes into court and pleads guilty to everything. So it's just a big grift at the end of the day.
Yeah. So he got his 21 grand. He goes and pleads guilty, gets out of jail for time served.
He has a criminal record now.
Yeah. Well, that's good. But there's nothing that says you can't run for mayor if you're a criminal. If you're
really
a total, in Calgary there isn't. Yeah.
If you owe them a tax debt, you can't run. And if you break any of the election rules within the past 10 years, I believe you also can't run. That's it. That's it.
Well, that does actually strengthen my theory that anybody in politics is probably a criminal. So
you're not far, you're not far, but it's been left up to normal people to do very abnormal and heroic things, right? To follow this guy around isn't fun for a guy like Rob. Like, the hatred that he gets, we get, you get when you stand up for common sense is amazing. And our next guest is very similar. Casper Cameron joins us. Are you there, Casper? Do we got you?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you, but that's okay. We'll just no worries. We've obviously got you here, so that's good. How you doing?
I'm really good, man. How you guys doing?
We're really good. Now, the reason why Casper's on is because he's the manager of Fillmore's Gentlemen's Club, which is Toronto's #1 destination for gentlemen that love to go to gentlemen's clubs. Now, what they announced this morning, and we wrote a piece on it, was incredible. Again, regular people doing irregularly heroic things. Tell us about it, Casper, and tell us why you're doing this at Fillmore's.
Well, to be honest with you, there's no other reason than health and safety. That's really what it comes down to, right? Is we've heard concerns from staff and entertainers when we were told we were allowed to reopen. We heard about this like months ago, and so we decided that all staff and employees will be vaccinated. And then when we started wondering about customers, and that was again from our entertainers and our staff, we decided for health and safety reasons that all patrons should be vaccinated too.
I love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I love it because
a round of applause. A round of applause.
I love it because this is what all of them were saying. All of these anti-vax, their worst nightmare is coming true. I'm telling you, we're not going to be allowed to travel or go to strip clubs.
It's the tail wagging the dog, though, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have a question, Casper. What happens at these clubs?
Well, let me tell you about wholesome family entertainment.
Listen, we all understand what happens, Casper, but like, how is it? And listen, I've maintained this in every post. We talk about the sex trade and sex work because it is just work. These are people that work in an industry and they deserve every right and every freedom and every protection. But how is it that industry, your industry, is leading the way when the government isn't doing anything? Like you said something to me prior to getting on the show. You're like, we had hoped the government would be fucking responsible, but they're not. So we're just doing it.
Well, the reality is the safest sex you're ever going to have is going to be with a sex worker. Right? Like even not in my genre, but in other genres. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you want fish, you go to the ocean, right?
Is that part of your like pep talk with the girls before the shift?
What's that?
Is that part of your pep talk with the girls before they start their shift?
Yeah.
No, I got better motivational speeches than that.
So, but Casper,
tell us why.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's health and safety. Like even before the pandemic, sex work is the absolute most safest thing. Girl hygiene, condoms, personal safety. Like these are highlights in not just our industry, but especially not strip clubs because we're not, you know, we're kind of more on the entertainment side of things. Mm-hmm. But but like you said, sex work is all work. Whether you're a stripper, an escort, a porn star, and we are the most. I think this industry is the safest because nobody wants to die or get sick or get a disease, whether it's venereal or coronavirus. It's just common sense, you know?
So is there a possibility that you might loosen up the restrictions? Like, or are you going to go full bore, Casper, where if you are not double vaxxed and it hasn't been 2 weeks since your last vaccination, you're not allowed in the club at all? Or are you going to let the guy in at the front whining, going, "What I got the Pfizer in March"? Like, are you going to let that guy in?
Yeah. How are you checking? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and that's what brings up the other question, though, right? Is without a vaccine pass, and here's an example for you. A lot of our entertainers, because we deal with anywhere between 300 to 500 pre-pandemic, and we know them all really, really well, and so. As soon as the pandemic hits, they don't quit their craft. They went elsewhere. They went to California. They went to Texas. They went to Florida, different parts of the country that had different openings and stuff. So they didn't stop working. They went out. So if somebody has the Johnson & Johnson, for example, I can't verify that because there's no vaccine passport. And that's the real question is why isn't there a vaccine passport, in my opinion?
I don't disagree with you, man. I
good point.
They're terrified about the privacy rules and everything like that, and the governments are overly cautious.
Well, they got to make up their mind. Are you terrified about the privacy rules, or are you terrified about the health and safety of your society? You got to make up your mind.
You're right, though, Captain. You're right.
And can I just also offer up, like, you know, you talk about these people being afraid. You know, about the privacy stuff, but like, don't you have to take?
Don't get me wrong. It is. Don't get me wrong. It is a fine line. Like we understand that. We're not arguing that.
But till this point, if you were in operation, didn't you have to contract trace every single person that came in? Weren't you already taking their personal phone number and their name and stuff? If you were operating,
there was a big problem with that, though.
No, but my point is this.
People can get fake names and fake numbers. Again, where was the government? Where was the government involved in the contact tracing?
In my opinion, they left it on a private business.
In my opinion, not speaking for Fillmore's at all, but in my personal opinion, The government has let us down every step of the way in this pandemic.
Absolutely. You're not wrong. You're
No.
not wrong. That's why we have a growing number of people that are disillusioned and going to anti-mask rallies, and they're becoming anti-vaxxers because we're getting conflicting information. We're getting information that says one thing one day, and then 2 weeks down that they completely flip the script on you. They have one direction one week, and then they completely contradict themselves by going another direction, and it's driving people insane.
But some of the science is proven, though. Contact tracing was proven, not like in 19 other countries before we even considered it. And when we did consider it, we just put the onus on the business owner again. They didn't come up with a database. There was no, hey, this is the app we're going to use for the province, the city, the country. Like, again, like it's just mismanagement right across the board. And they knew what was working, not working in other countries. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of Fillmore's. I can't stress that enough. This is just my own personal opinion.
No, but like if you're acting on behalf of Fillmore's and instituting this fully vaxxed policy for patrons, which I love, right?
Yeah.
You're acting on it on behalf of your business, on behalf of the girls that work for you, the guys that work for you. You're doing the right thing when it's so fucking unpopular and hard to do the right thing. So have you had any blowback from any people who are like, fuck, man, I'm not getting vaccinated? What's it been like?
What's your staff saying?
The only concern that I heard that was like anything valid was just about the privacy thing. It wasn't about the vaccination. Right. And again, without a vaccine passport, you can't really, there's no guaranteed way of proving that that person is or is not vaxxed. So our stance is we're going to try, we think we're going to do the honor system and use our best abilities to make sure everyone's vaccinated. That is our goal as of now. But until there is a vaccine passport, all we can do is our best efforts, and that is exactly what we're going to do. It's our best efforts every day. If we learn something on Friday that we can implement on Saturday, we'll do it.
Someone needs to explain something to me, and I'm just throwing it out there for everybody on the call right now on the pod. Why are people worried about someone finding out they're vaccinated or not?
They're not worried.
It doesn't make any sense. I tell people all the time that I'm double vaxxed.
I don't think it has anything to do with vaccination. It's like anything else. It's personal information, and it's something that has been abused for many years. And I can understand. Like even I'm opposed to having too many records or making public records. Like I get that. I don't think it's about the vaccination. I think it's the issue, and I can completely understand.
Yeah, Rob. Okay. Rob, you're going to say something there?
I don't think they're actually worried about it. I think this is just a very convenient excuse for them to be against any more measures moving forward. I think hiding behind it's my information is private. All this is just convenience. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Because the only people I know that are upset about the idea of having a vaccine passport are the dicks that haven't been vaccinated.
Well, I gotta be honest. We have had very little like most of I'd say like even 99% of our feedback has been extremely positive. So we haven't had the backlash that we thought we might get.
Well, good
We've
for
got
you,
the media attention, but we didn't get the backlash that we were expecting.
The thing that I love about Fillmore's requiring vaccination is that it's probably going to motivate some of the people, some of the guys that are on the fence that haven't got around to it to go ahead and do it, because they're going to see a place like Fillmore's doing it, and they're going to be like, hey, if Fillmore's doing it, you want to know what? It's only a matter of time before business down the road does it too, so I might as well go get it done. So I think that's great.
Fillmore's is going the extra mile for people too, right? Casper, tell me about your vaccination clinic. This is going to be fucking great.
Yeah, well, we're working with Maggie's. We did a vaccination clinic at Zanzibar about a month ago, right? And
for
so we're doing
workers.
For sex workers, street people, anybody in the marginalized, can't go through the provincial system, right?
You bet, yeah.
So, and it was a good success. They did it, and they reached out to us, and we decided this is when we thought we were going to open up on the 21st, right? So we set up a clinic. We have a pop clinic this Saturday from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. And then as soon as the clinic's over, we're just shifting right back to work, and there should be a chick on stage by 4:10.
Want to see boobies? Get the jab.
Yeah, free the nipples.
And free the nipples is right. So, like, if someone goes there and gets vaccinated, will you let them stay for the 410 show?
I think you have to wait at least 2 weeks for that to be vaccinated. But again, this is we're just going to do our best efforts. Like I can't stress that enough. I don't have the politically right answer, because it's very fluid. that what we're in right now. And once we realize that, hey, some of these girls are coming in with vaccines we never even heard of, like, how do we verify this?
Yeah.
Anybody with the Sputnik? Yep.
No, not yet. But I imagine at the end of August when those girls start rolling
When
in.
when the
When
Yugoslavian
those
girls start coming home.
when the Eastern Bloc tour
Yeah.
hits Toronto. Yeah, I got it.
Exactly.
I've got Casper. I've got the Sputnik.
Yes, you do. Now get on stage with your wolf blanket.
Exactly.
Last question
We'll
for
play
you.
Rammstein for you.
The last question for you, Casper.
Yeah, man.
Is Yellow Ledbetter still the #1 third song for featured dancers and Stairway to
For
Heaven?
featured dancers.
Yeah.
No, believe it or not, it still goes down to I'd still have to break it down to AC/DC.
Really?
When it comes to
Okay.
featured tracks, it's an AC/DC song, like 9 times out of 10.
What's
Is it
the
really?
most popular blanket tune?
Blanket tune? Oh, I couldn't say it's a popular song, but it's just depending on the R&B flavor of the week.
Okay.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
a good
Little
one,
Leon
yeah.
Bridges, maybe lately.
Yeah.
Is Barry White still famous at Fillmore's? Do you still get a lot of Barry White for third songs? A little.
No, I can't
No.
say. I can't
All
say.
right.
But I'd have to confer with my DJ.
And
though.
how much per song for a lap dance?
$20.
All right.
So affordable.
Pandemic
And
prices.
if you're fully vaxxed, it's never been more affordable. You've been in a fucking pandemic bunker for the last 18 months. Go to Fillmore's when they open up. Go and see Casper. You can go in there and know everybody in there is vaccinated because these people are doing the right thing. And again, the vaccine
Good
clinic open at
adult fun.
Fillmore's on Saturday before 4:10. You'll be able to get your shot. Go there with the whole family. I don't see why you won't. Casper,
Yeah,
listen.
entertainment.
Absolutely, dude.
Say hi
Can't
to
thank
Cherry
you enough.
Poppins for me.
Do you have a Cherry Poppins? Yeah, some of my favorite. Forget it. I was going to get into stripper names, but listen, Casper, appreciate you, and we'll see you down there momentarily.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, boys.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. take it
Finally, Dean leaves
There
the
you go.
house
Yeah,
to go to the
And-
Rippers.
to go to the Toronto's most legendary strip joint.
Just need some
What was
motivation.
wasn't the brass rail up there as well for years?
There was,
Yeah, up. Go ahead, Robbie.
well, I'm trying to think. It was Zanzibar. I've always considered Zanzibar to be Toronto's legendary strip joint. I can't.
It
talk
had the
to it.
biggest strip joint sign. The brass rail, which was next to Zanzibar, it was
What- okay.
lower brass, and then there was upper brass. The high rollers would go to the upper brass. Just so you know, I've never been to lower brass. I've never been. I've been
How
to
do
upper
you-
brass. What's that?
How do you say you have a girl coming for a job?
Right.
What are the qualifications to go upper brass?
Have you never been to a strip joint, Rob?
I haven't been to Brass Rail.
Okay.
I've been to Remington's.
Attaboy.
I've never really been a strip club guy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I've been to all the ones in the falls, like when I was 19. You know, my
Yeah,
buddies
when we-
and stuff. But
When we were kids, we used to go and we'd play pool and go see the Rippers on the weekends. But I swear, man, I never was. I felt so bad for them.
I
Although I gotta-
well, I feel bad. They're making money. You know, like they're having a good time. They're making their money. That's
you
Some of
their
them
job.
can't.
That's their
Some of
job.
them can't dance. It's like they got the
They're
rhythm
not
of a
there to
dog
dance.
fight.
They're not there to dance, Rob. Sorry, they're not there to dance, Locke. I don't know if you know that.
I want to see some rhythm at least, you know?
You
Yeah.
might be the only guy I know that goes to a strip joint to see how quality the dancing is.
Okay, I got a one quick strip club story. So
Okay. Do you want some classical music for this or no?
you can play whatever you need to play that makes you feel good about where we're
All
going
right.
with this story. Okay.
Strip club
So-
music. Go.
Years ago, I frequented a strip club because it had pool tables. I was living in the trailer park. I swear to God, I was living in the trailer park, which was down a couple of blocks from the High Arrow pub in Castlegar. Just before I went to Vancouver to go to radio school. And I was
already lying.
some university
You're already
transfer course. No,
You're
no,
already
no, I'm not
lying.
lying.
You didn't go in there just to play pool, Lachlan.
I did. Honestly, I was going there to play pool because that's how we paid our rent. My roommate was like this
What?
phenomenal pool player. And he'd be like, all right, Locke, we got to go. You're my partner. You're okay at pool. we're going to go make the rent. And our rent was, I don't know, it was like $200 or something a month. It was crazy cheap. But I'm like, if I can get out of rent this month, I got more money for booze, right? So we go to the High Arrow and we'd spend the night there playing pool. And we're there on a Monday, or I think it was a Monday or Tuesday night. It was early in the week because they always put the featured acts up and they were there all week, right? So you get a look at the entertainment coming through at the beginning of the week, and there might not be a big crowd. And if she was really good,
once, by the way, you haven't mentioned pool once.
We're playing pool in the High Arrow pub.
It's all about the strippers, but go ahead.
And there is a young lady on stage who is starting to get a lot of reaction. And the bar has a good crowd, not full, but a good crowd. There's 20, 30 people in there, maybe 20 of them watching her and then 10 playing pool. Okay. Yeah. And like I said, it's early in the week. Well, she sits down on, I would call a tripod dildo. So it's got
describe this to us.
The stage with suction. And it's quite big, right? And
so it moves around too.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think
and
just
she
just the size of it. Yeah.
I just wanted to see move his arm like that again. That's all.
And the guys go crazy. Now, here's the problem.
Yeah,
you're not allowed to put stuff upside of you when you're stripping. I still think it might be illegal. Yeah. So the guys are going crazy, and we're like, what's going on? So now we're all of a sudden paying attention, and we're crowded up to the table. So the next night, we decided to go back, not to play pool, but to see this young lady do what she did the night before.
Yeah.
And she comes out on stage, and the cops showed up and arrested her. And there was almost a riot. There was like 300 people in the bar. Everyone was jammed in there. Like, you couldn't even fucking move. Every pervert in the city just crawled out of their holes to go see this girl because it just got talked about like crazy. And then they arrest her, and I'm like, there's going to be a fight. And the guys were chasing the cops to the car. It was
Well, it's because they interrupted their fun, right? Like that's why. Thank you for that story. That was.
Have you guys ever seen Mitzi?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe this is a Western thing. Mitzi used to put ping pong balls up there and fire them across the room. And
that's
she was
an old wives' tale.
I think every area has a version of that.
No,
I'm
not wrong.
When I was 20, I worked down in Orlando.
You want classical music for this, dude? You want some nice?
No, that's okay. This is a quick one.
Okay.
So I worked down at Disney World when I was 21. And me and my one buddy, we used to go drinking around Epcot, and then we would go off property and hit up a couple strip clubs. And I'm gay, so like I'm just there because like he wanted to go, so like whatever, I'm having a good time. But I had this game where, because in the Disney area, Disney's like the large employer there, right? And a lot of the girls that work at strip clubs are former characters at Walt Disney World.
So there's a chance you might run into someone who played Snow White at Disney World last year.
100%. So the girls would come over. The girls would come over, and I would just say to them, I'm like, oh, I'm gay. Like, don't waste your time on me. I know you got your money to make. And then I'd be like, wait, are you Snow White? And then they would get all excited and be like, yeah, I did that in my college years for an internship, blah, 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 blah. And then you look around and you see, oh, that one's a Snow White. That's a Snow White. That's a Princess Jasmine right there. Oh, that's a Cinderella. And
wow.
Next time you're in Orlando, take a look.
That is fantastic.
I would want to know if is there in the male strip joint world, is there an equivalent to the ping pong move in the female strip joint world?
No, because the cleanup would just be horrible.
I figured, yeah.
All right, we can leave it there. I don't know if we need to explore that further.
I got it. Totally. I got it right away.
Was good. Mitzi was good, though. She could hit beers. Boo, 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 boo.
I've heard this story, dude. I've heard the Mitzi story like 4,000 times, and it is never true. It is always honest. It's always like What's that?
Somebody will join us on the chat that will confirm that Mitzi was a real stripper and that she did fire ping pong balls from her hoo-ha around the bar.
How far?
A good, like she had distance too, Dean. Accuracy and distance.
That's skill right there. That's practice.
I guess that's how you know you're good at.
Yeah.
Like being able to do it is one thing. Being able to be accurate and get distance is another thing. And then my mind starts to wonder, how strong is that thing of hers?
Yeah.
And then you start doing the math in your head and you're like, is Mitzi still performing? Where can I see this?
I don't think she's been around for years. Like I think it was late 90s where, yeah. But I'm pretty sure back in her heyday, she could open up a jar of pickles.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
I'm so visual.
Yeah, that's...
Twist that lid right off.
Oh.
And she would only need one hand.
Just to hold the jar.
Yeah. That's traditionally how it works. Yeah. Anyway, that's fascinating. Back to Kevin J. Johnson, who we were shitting on with extreme impunity a little earlier, because I want to get to the right side of this. Did you guys see Chris Sky on Rebel News yesterday? No one else did. Because Rebel News isn't a fucking news organization.
I saw it on DeanBlundell.com.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, there you go. It's at DeanBlundell.com. You can check it out there. But this, like Chris Sky, say what you will about him, alt-right, total wiener. You went to see him last weekend, Rob. He caused a scene at Karima's thing, but if the fucking guy shows up. Like if you say, "Hey, come to the interview," he shows up to the interview. If you say,
you gotta give him that at least.
Oh, dude, totally. So you know, I don't know what's happened, but Chris Sky is like public enemy number one with all the guys that we've made fun of here over the past like 6 months. PPC, Maxime Bernier, Randy Hillier, Derek Sloan, every single one of these guys that we had on to do an interview, which really wasn't an interview, it was just us, you know, taking big shits on people, but passive aggressively. He's now fighting with them to the point where he goes on Rebel News last night. And again, it's not news. It's like it's basically a like Clubhouse for idiots. It's like, you know how you Clubhouse or Twitter, you can get on a group chat. Rebel News is a group chat for trailer pigs. Go ahead.
But it did start out as it is a media source in the sense that somebody from the ground floor up did have a media background, right? Or a writing journalist.
Rebel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was started by Ezra Levant and Brian Lilly.
Don't they have like writing background, like newspaper background?
Brian Lilly, yeah, Toronto Sun.
Yeah.
He's the one he's currently sleeping with Doug Ford's communications director. So
there's a foot in at least the traditional media side of things, right?
Yeah.
So
but
they just
really.
have never really been able to get any sort of momentum. Like I think they want to be the Fox News of Canada, right?
Yeah, they do.
It's kind of where they're going.
And by and large, everything is run by Ezra. Ezra puts on these fantastic little events where he looks like a victim, and then he uses the video from those events where he looks like a victim, and he begs for money because he's been deplatformed. But yesterday, Chris Sky was on some Rebel show with this guy, and we'll get to him in a second, and caused a big scene, walked off the show live, and it was actually pretty funny. It created this like fucking like rift in the space-time continuum, and my brain started to hurt because I'm like, oh, fuck. All these guys hate each other now? Watch this. It's great.
Push the narrative that I'm a denier and trying to push everything. You even tried to push the narrative that it didn't matter that they lied about Ottawa. You tried to pretend like I didn't show you an email. You said, oh, it could have been anything. You're literally feeding every narrative that they're using to attack me right now, and you're playing into it. So, David, I think I'm going to cut this interview at this, and I don't think I'm going to be talking to Rebel News anymore.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Well,
have a nice day, Dave.
Okay, well, you know, what can I say, folks? We were trying to give Chris an opportunity to refute some of these allegations, some of these social media postings that have been made by him, and I guess he didn't want to pursue that. I had many more questions and many more directions to go in this. I'm sorry that Chris has taken such a stance as this, but maybe with the passage of time, he will come back.
Maybe Chris had to get to the gym. I think it's leg day.
It's never leg day.
It's never leg day for Chris Sky.
He has never focused on his legs. Go ahead.
I think actually legs are Chris Sky's #1 enemy. Have you seen how short he is?
Yeah,
he's a tiny little bastard.
He went up to me at Karima's event and he's like, "Oh, hello," and like tried to shake my hand. He had to look up and tilt his head at like a 45, like at the big angle there to look up and say hi to me. I'm towering over this tiny man.
What were you saying, Locke?
Well, I was going to say that I think part of what's happening is they've been proven wrong so much, right? Mm-hmm. And they tried to, when they had a narrative and they had sort of a path to go on, they jumped on it, and then all these things have been sort of like there's all these roadblocks now for them, and now they're largely being ignored by the mainstream media as well, which I think they all hoped that they would get a little bit of coverage. Yeah. I found it very entertaining that they refused to mention Chris Sky's name when they talked about some of his rallies, right? They didn't even mention his name, which drove him crazy.
Oh, and that's what's driving his anger at these guys is he's been excluded from the movement. And now he's asserting himself and saying, I'm bigger than you guys, which is a douchebag move. But he's not wrong. Like
he might be.
Yeah,
he is.
He might be.
Yeah,
but over someone like Darren Sloan, of course he's bigger. He has a bigger name right now.
But the thing is, I think what's happening now is because they're so frustrated about the fact that life is getting back to normal again. They've been proven wrong so much. All of their sort of predictions about the future haven't occurred. People are getting vaccinated in record numbers, which they didn't have any impact on the overall vaccination numbers. By the way, Rob, I have to laugh because your screen back there with the old folks walking back and forth.
They're just looping around that building.
I love it. Makes me laugh every time I see them. Yeah. But the funny thing for me is they're fighting each other because they all look so stupid, and now that's all they have left is just to battle each other. I find it entertaining that he's even on Rebel News. I mean,
oh dude, it's not beautiful news. It's not news. Like I was looking up the guy that he was in. Look at his face. This guy's name is David Menzies, I think. And he is like a 68-year-old former washed up like news reporter who hasn't literally had a regular job in like 20 years, and they fed him to the fucking lions. Like they're like, here, go interview Chris Sky. And as he does it, look at his face. Are you serious? Look at how red he is. I bet you the sweat pouring down his fucking back is pooling in his asshole at this moment in time because he literally has no idea what to do. But I wonder about these guys too. Like, I wonder, how can any of these people consider themselves reporters when they don't report on anything? They just further a narrative. Like, how is it fucking possible?
Yeah. I question my existence daily, but that's different.
Rob, do I have the clip of the Ezra screaming at Montreal police? He just left me a note. I'm going to try and find it.
One. Yeah. It was a beautiful event.
By the way, what was that guy's name from Rebel News?
David Menzies.
He looks like he shits once a week. Am I wrong? That guy is constantly constipated.
Look at him. Look at his face.
That's like
it looks like he's
4 days into. Yeah, that's 4 days into him pushing cloth, and he can't get it out. It's just hanging there.
Look at him. Oh, someone help me! Someone. I've been eating a lot of cheese. Someone help me. I can't. But I don't even know how this guy gets a job. Like, how does a guy like that get a? Obviously, he's just being asked.
They don't make any money over there.
No, they were demonetized by YouTube recently.
Yeah,
I heard
YouTube
that.
Took that. I mean, how do you even watch Rebel News? Like, where do you go? Dude. Is it just on their webpage now?
Yeah. Yeah, rebelnews.ca or rebelnews.com. And if you notice it, I don't know if you noticed this, Rob, I did. Not that it makes me some kind of fucking, journalistic magnum PI, But if you noticed it, every time they put out a video of something like this, there is some major commotion, and it is costing them money. So what they do is they'll say, they beg people. So they'll put these clips out, right, and just beg people for money to help them fight whatever it is in the clip that they're trying to fight.
I'll repeat. I want the more money they make, the better. Like I say this too about Trump. Like I hope as many people as, because the less money the dumb have, I think the better off we're all going to be as a whole, as a human race.
That's a good point. Yeah, they're just bankrupting each other. Yeah, why do I have such a problem with it?
Trump's just going to piss it away, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, Rebel News, what are they doing with it?
Fighting lawsuits.
Metamucil. I mean, they're not spending it on anything worthy.
I wonder what David Menzies' Metamucil budget is over there.
Oh, fuck. Not a lot. Look at him. Looks like he's just struggling today. It really does.
Can we gift some to him, like through Amazon or something?
We probably can.
Yeah, I bet you they probably have their address on the internet somewhere. I might send them some.
Dude. This guy looks like
by Metamucil.
This guy looks like his anus has been compacted for a while.
Oh yeah.
And he is looking for relief. David Menzies, ladies and gentlemen. Fuck, I hate those guys. I don't even know how they're fucking still. I guess they're still in business because people pay, but fuck, it's weird. Weird to me. Did you guys see the racist, the Nazi Asian?
What?
Oh god.
What's this? I missed
Confused
this.
individual.
Yeah, from identity politics to this guy. I'm playing a video. This came out today. Apparently, this guy's wandering around Toronto and Vancouver, making very terrible anti-Semitic statements. There's one in this clip, so just a little trigger warning.
Okay.
But notice this is probably, and I don't know how he ended up here, the only Asian Nazi in the world, and he's here.
Hi, Jew. Hey, what's up? Not much. Jewish much? Proud of it. Proud of it. You like your history, right? Look, I'm still standing.
Is that even a tattoo? It looks like he took a fucking Sharpie and just drew it on himself.
Does he
what the hell's wrong with you?
Is he aware of what the overall concept of Nazism is?
I don't think so. That's why I find it offensive and terrible, but so fucking funny. Like, I think he's so confused. He's like, maybe I'm not sure if like when he got here, someone was like, listen, Hebrews love being called Jews, and they love it when you address them as Jews and say, hi, Jew. They love it. So, and they love this little thing that's been around for a long time. So get that tattooed on your chest. That's the only way. I mean, how do you become a white supremacist Nazi
when you're Asian
agitator when you're clearly Asian?
Someone needs to send him a pamphlet or something.
Yeah, he didn't get that pamphlet, Rob. I think he missed that one, or he missed a meeting. Yeah.
How is that fucking possible? I've never seen it. And I watched it probably 15 times this morning. I'm like, I got to make sure this guy's Asian before I start going off on an Asian Nazi in the middle of the show. And he is guaranteed Asian.
He definitely does have that look for sure.
That girl handled it like a champ, though.
Yeah.
The girl who was harassing with the baby, she handled it like a champ.
Yeah, she's proud to be Jewish. Of course she is. She is who she is. I mean,
exactly.
But is this like a new thing?
I hope it's not a new thing.
But like I'm saying, after all of this shit that's happened, I mean, you know, we normally don't see this kind of stuff, do we?
Well, a lot of this stuff has kind of energized people and given people, you know, a lot of these shitty people that have been in society for, you know, they've always been around us, right? But a lot of this anti-mask movement, Trump, all this kind of nonsense has energized people to kind of be more open and out with their hatred, and it's pretty shitty.
Yeah. It's fucking.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Sorry about what?
The wife. She had to interrupt me there for a second. We just have our neighbor is burning a couch or something in the backyard. Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live. It's the same guy that asked me over the fence one day. He said, "Hey," and I look over and he's got a rifle, and I'm like, "Everything good?" And he goes, "Can I shoot those crows in your tree?" And I went, "I don't know if that's a good idea, buddy. We're in a suburb."
Was he hungry?
He goes, he was mad at the crows. He goes, "I'll come get the bodies." And I'm like, not the point. I don't know if we're allowed to fire off guns. So now he's burning a couch.
And your wife
And
came
my
down
wife
to tell
is-
you that
well,
like
there's a
burning
fire
couch in the
ban.
backyard?
There's a fire ban, and I mean, we've got forest fires all over Alberta. It's dry as a popcorn fart, and he's decided to burn his garbage today. Fucking idiot.
Listen, this isn't the first time you've been on the show where someone has come down because a neighbor is burning their garbage. Does it happen in Edmonton more than I know?
This is a different neighbor too, and I'm in a decent neighborhood.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is literally the third time in a show where your wife has come down and go, "Lachlan, neighbors are burning the garbage again."
Alberta's a strange place.
It is. It really is. The funny thing is, most of my friends, they burn their garbage, and I'm like, I know. Not only that, I can get you reservation cigarettes and menthols. And I got a connection on stolen meat.
What?
Yeah. If you need stolen meat,
Alberta.
Yeah, every once in a while I'll get a call from somebody and they'll go, "Hey, look, I got a half side of beef, Locke. Give me $50. I'll bring it to your house." I'm like, "What? What did you? Who are your like? Who's dropping this?" No, less we know, better,
dude. I used to live in Alberta, and you would get guys literally knocking on your door every month going, "You want to buy some meat?"
Yeah, it's weird.
And you like, because we have like legitimate meat salespeople that come around in like cars that are represented by businesses here. In Alberta, it's different. In Alberta, you literally get guys like Lachlan going door to door with like a Chevy S10 full of whatever they killed, and they're trying to sell it for money. Yeah.
Or speakers. That's the other thing. For years, it doesn't happen as much anymore. You'd be like in the driveway or in the parking lot of a strip mall, and your wife ran in to get something or whatever, and you waiting. You know, we were just stopping on the way home, and some guy would come up to the window and go, "Hey, you need any speakers?" I'm like, "No, I don't need fucking speakers, and I'm not buying them out of the back of a truck on a Tuesday." Like,
I always wondered to those guys that were selling speakers or like off-sale meat out of the back of their car, how many people actually say yes? Because you're smart enough to go,
"Oh, I know tons of
I'm
people
not interested in buying cut rate beef out of the back of your car on a 30-degree day. I'm just not interested in it."
Yeah, I don't know if the refrigeration in a Honda Civic holds up too much.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever like kind of just haggle with them, Lachlan? Just see where the conversation would go.
I usually don't entertain that side of life. Yeah, it's an interesting province, and the funny thing is that's how everybody views us, and it's not. There is a huge collection of very normal, hardworking people that don't drive jacked up trucks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Alberta is not what everybody thinks it is. Yeah, there is an element of that, but it's not what everybody. There's just as much of that element in BC and Saskatchewan and Manitoba and Ontario, but for some reason we own it, and everyone thinks that everybody here is like that, right? Anyway,
the cowboy hats don't help, dude. I think it's the yokel
it's your brand
perspective. Yeah.
It is a brand out there.
It is a bit of a brand, right?
It's kind of like King of the Hill was a province.
Yeah, and it's like literally happening every day where your wife comes down on odd Thursdays or Wednesdays and goes, "Honey, yeah, neighbors are burning their furniture in the front yard again."
These are the same neighbors that don't cut their lawn ever, right? And so the guy that bought the place quite a few years ago, there was a guy that was living there, an older gentleman, and he passed away, and his family sold the place, and this guy bought it, and he moved in. He was here for a summer, and he was a carpenter, and he did a whole bunch of work on the house, and he turned it into suites. So we got this rental property unit next to us, and it's like an old 70s bungalow, and I think he turned it into 2 or 3 suites. So there's always a ton of cars. It's a bit of a riffraff, and they never actually come around. And for a long time, they didn't come around and do the lawns until I reported them. And I finally, and I'm not the guy. We're not the family that reports our neighbors.
Again, it sounds like you are.
But
you did,
dude. The province could burn down in a second. Like, we've seen it, and they're burning garbage in the backyard. They're like, I understand my wife's concern. It's not because they've got a fire going. It's because it is so fucking dry here. Yeah. Like, my grass is dying. It is so dry, and you don't have a fire. You just don't. It's just not the right thing to do. Anyway, so finally one day I snapped because these losers spent all weekend digging holes and pouring concrete to put posts in for a fucking hammock. And they hadn't mowed their lawn all year. And I finally snapped, and I phoned the city, and I reported them. And if they hadn't put in the hammock, I wouldn't have. But you spend your whole weekend putting a fucking hammock in your backyard, and I haven't seen a lawnmower in that house once. I lost it.
Dude, you are. That's what I'm saying. Is like, you're an old dude now. Like, what you the whole story as you've gone through it.
I am that guy.
All I got out of that is you're trying to convince yourself you're not the old guy that calls the city on his neighbors for not mowing the lawn.
I am.
But that's exactly what you fucking did. Yeah.
Okay.
You need to own it. Just own it. Just own it.
One day,
this is who you've become. Just own it.
One day I came home. They were parked in front of my drive-through. My garage is in the back. It's a 2-car separated garage, and I park in it. Unlike everybody else in this neighborhood that parks on the street and fills their fucking garages with shit. So we've got our garage cleaned out to fit the 2 cars that it actually fits.
Locke's been meaning to talk about this for a while, by the way. So because he's jacked up right now. So I get it. Go ahead. Continue.
So I come home, and there's this like white Nissan, and it's literally blocking 3/4 of my driveway. And I've got to drive over the fucking grass to get into my driveway to go park in my garage. So I'm in the garage, and my wife, the windows are open, and I'm banging around. I'm looking for something to go break the windows out of the car. And my wife is yelling at me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going to go break all the windows out of the car." And she goes, "Don't do that. Call the police." So I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's a better idea." Like, how's it going to look? Me with a bat that I can't find right now because I haven't played baseball since I was 35. And
not great, but it's a pussy move. It's a pussy move. In your mind, I get what you're saying. In your mind, you're like, I don't want to be the guy who calls the cops because that's worse than getting arrested.
I would
for
rather
demoing
be the
this
guy
guy's car
that breaks the windows out of his car. So anyway, I call the police. They come. I'd stand on my front porch because I know where they're from. They're from the guy burning garbage right next door. So this guy runs out and he moves his car, and the cops come up. They call him, and I stare him down. Literally 2 weeks later, the dick did it again. Like, the first time I was like, okay, well, maybe he didn't notice that it was the driveway. Yeah. Now you're doing it to be a dick. So I called the cops again, and I stood there and watched while they, and I think it happened one more time. My wife had to call, but that's my neighbors. Like,
oh, dude, now Rob and I are getting the full story. You've called the cops on your neighbors
multiple times,
several times,
and the 311 number, which is the number you report. Yeah, it's happened more than a couple of times.
Do they know like your voice when you call?
No. Oh, I get recognized occasionally, but not very often. Yeah. Edmonton is a big city. I can be fairly anonymous here. Although when I'm rolling with the midget from the show, then it's fucking game over. Yeah. Yeah. It's game over.
I think we've learned a lot today. I think
by the way,
about vaccines, we've learned about strip joints, and we've also learned about the alt-right eating each other, and we've also learned that Locker is literally an old dude who does old dude things.
I don't want to be that guy.
It's too late.
I don't want to be that guy.
But you are.
I am. Rob, I
gotta go with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, you need to go watch the video of Jimmy getting his nuts waxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on all my social media.
All right. Lachlan Cross at Lachlan Cross on Twitter.
Yeah.
If you'd like to see Jimmy's balls getting waxed, or if you would just like to interact with Lachlan on a number of these subjects, if you yourself
saw it.
Did he?
It's very funny.
Is it really? Should we play it before we go? Oh, yeah. He's like, saw it. I didn't see it. Otherwise, I would have played it.
I didn't see it either.
Is it on your...
we posted it this morning. It's there.
You got his balls waxed?
Yeah, it's the audio is funny.
Is it just the audio?
No, it's video. It's full-on video. I got him to put the camera right on his face. We don't got his
balls waxed by Mila at Cali Spa.
Ding.
Is that one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere until we watch this together. Oh yeah. We're hang on. I'll get this for us. Talk amongst yourselves.
Rob, you're in Mississauga?
No, Niagara.
Oh, Niagara. Okay.
Niagara, yeah.
All right. And are you working now? Are you back to work?
No, the pandemic kind of killed my job, so kind of shifted to do some consulting in the meantime.
All right.
But yeah.
I'm watching this video.
I'll tell you offline what I did before. It's something I can't mention on here.
He's a mercenary. That's what he does. He kills. Oh my God. Are you serious? He did this?
Yeah.
We're going out with this. I'm not doing anything until we go out with this. There's no point in trying to pretend this is a professional program because it isn't.
No. Yeah, post it. It's fantastic.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it right now.
The kid,
was he nervous?
Yeah, he was more nervous about the whole, getting a boner thing, because she's also drop dead gorgeous, right?
So
he's, and the funny thing is too, this girl, this is what she does. She does this. Yeah. She has a shop where they do all sorts of beauty things: hair removal, tattoo removal, teeth whitening. They've got a number of things, but they do Brazilians and they do Menzilians. So there's probably her and one other, technician or whatever that does dudes. And guys, this is a thing. Guys are into this now, right? So it's becoming more and more popular. And very few shops like Cali Beauty Bar do Manzilians. They won't do men.
Is that what they're called for dudes?
It's called a Manzilian.
It's called the Manzilian. I had no idea.
Yeah. So
I don't know, Dean. Dean, you strike me as someone that has had a Manzilian.
I've never had one. I have never had a Manzilian.
You totally strike me as somebody that. So she does the sugar waxing. I don't know what the difference between regular waxing and sugar waxing is, but it's apparently a new technique based on a very ancient form of hair removal. So Jimmy was, because he doesn't.
He just used the word
opposite
ancient form of hair removal.
Well, that's what I was told. So Jimmy doesn't. There's not a lot of female attention,
right,
of his genitals.
Yeah, so it would be a concern. You're going in there to have your Jennies all groomed and waxed up,
refreshed,
and
so she's gonna be maneuvering and like pulling things aside,
grabbing.
Right. There's a lot of that going on, and he was worried about getting a dinger. So he said he pounded off. He pounded off about 14 times in the last 3 days. Just to make sure that, and there was lots of soaking, lots of soaking.
He is unbelievable. Here's the video. I've got it now. It's 2 minutes. We'll go out with it. So I want to thank Rob Gill for joining us. Vote for Rob Gill on Twitter. One of my good buddies. He's one of the most supportive cats and one of the best follows on Twitter. Rob, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Lachlan Cross at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. 95.7 Cruise FM is where you can find him. Thank you for being here as well. We leave you with Jimmy getting his
nuts waxed.
Yeah, and I was watching it during the show as you were asking me to download it, so I know what happens here. If you haven't seen a little person get their nuts waxed, this is your day. Yeah. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Nice to meet you, Rob. Take care, Dean.
Hey, this is James P. Wade from the locker room on 95.7 Cruise FM.
Oh, God.
I'm here with Mila, and it's
Cali Beauty Bar, and we're gonna wax you today.
I'm getting waxed.
All right, this is the testing one. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah. It's not too bad though, right?
No, that's. No, it just felt like duct tape being ripped off the back of your hand. Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to laugh. On a scale of like 1 to 10, like 10 being the most painful, how bad is it?
I don't know. I want to say 60, but it just doesn't.
Still good.
Yeah. No tears yet.
No tears yet. Yeah, you're tough. Does it hurt? Get the rest of it. There we go.
No, that didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt?
Oh, yeah, it did.
You're doing great. If you want to tap out, you let me know. We can just make this a bikini wax.
I felt that one in my toe. And people do this often?
Yeah, about like every 5 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not doing that. Most are still there? Okay.
Yeah, all of you still there. Don't worry. It only feels like they're getting ripped up. How you doing?
Doing better now. Ow.
We got a lot of hair on that one. Still doing good?
Yeah, I haven't cried yet.
This part's not the best for most guys.
Oh, no, that hurt.
A little tender there? Yeah. On a scale of 1 to 60 now, how bad is this?
This part here is, I'd say, 2.
You sure you don't want your butt done?
I'm sure I don't want my butt done.
Okay. To be fair, you didn't scream as much as I thought you would.
It's James B. Wait for the locker room again. I just got waxed, and
And you
that was
cry.
an adventure. And it was an adventure.
Oh my God.
The Locker Room.
Brought to you by Always Plumbing and Heating.
Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.
The Locker Room, brought to you by Plumbing and Cooling. That's the best. I forgot about those. Is he okay?
The noise he was making.
He was a little bit better today. Yeah, he felt better. He said, I went home, I had to have a shower because my junk was sticky because it's sugar.
That's best radio show in the country, without question. Thank you for doing that. And tell Jimmy thank you, by the way. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
Thanks, James.
Take care, guys.
Thanks to everybody for being part of the show. My name is Dean. That is it for me. Oh, Lord. That was funny. Thanks to Ed's Fine Imports, edsfineimports.com, where you get Gitch. He's got luxury underwear that I wear. You can wear them too. Get a free pair using Gitch 3. That is your promo code. Woo. That was funny. Easy Auto Financial, brought to you by our friends at Easy Auto Financial. EasyAutoFinancial.ca puts you in a car. They get you financing. They get you subprime lending. They can do anything they want, but they will get you into a car, and they'll set you up with a car and the dealer that has the car you want. So they're a one-stop shop if you're looking for a vehicle and you need financing. And it's no obligation, by the way. EasyAutoFinancial.ca. Go there today. Domination.com. Check them out, too. If you produce content, you want to produce a bunch of it in a very short period of time. Super easy to use. Artificial intelligence for content creators, providers, dmntn.com. Try them for free. Check them out today. Blue Microphones, the official microphone supplier of DeanBlundell.com. Not only microphone supplier, but all the equipment needs you need to game, podcast, stream, whatever it is. They've got Logitech, part of the Logitech group of companies. Blue does everything really, really, really well, including this USB mic, the Blue Yeti X. I use it all the time. You should too. USB mic, no messing around. Plug it right into your computer. Go find them on Twitter at Blue Microphones or BlueMic.com for more information. Buy some stuff from them if you do this. It's super easy. Makes it way easier. Sorry, still laughing about the waxing video. Very funny. Very, very funny. Hey, that's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow at 5:30. Move the show. All right. All right. That's it for me.